Hello students, how are you? Again, I am in front of you and going to talk about the new concept that is new topic for you, that is the electricity and the circuit, and it is the uh, third last topic of your whole the syllabus. Now this topic is basically, first of all, I would like to share here. I want to give the more information related to electricity, how the electricities are formed, what is the different use of that electricity, and application of this electricity. Before that, we will talk about some the discovery of electricity by the Indian scientist as well as the foreign scientist. We will talk about all these things, and here I have given a lots of information for you people. All these information is just for your to extend your knowledge, and other information which is mentioned in your book on the basis of your syllabus. So let us start today's session, and in this picture you can see with the help of that electricity which is used to take energy from the sources. And when we talk about the form of energy, there is a you can see here, you can see here there is a light energy, that there is a electrical energy, there is a magnetic energy, there is a nuclear energy. These are the some form of this energy. And if we talk about what is energy, then the energy is basically the ability to do work. The kind of the things which is required for the work is basically energy. Energy is a heat energy. It can be heat energy, it can be chemical energy, it can be light energy, it can be electrical energy, sound energy, gravitational energy, kinetic energy. These are the some energies are given in front of you, and these are the different sources by which the energies are created. And with that, we are starting the electricity chapters now. As already told, that the energy is the basically the ability to do work. Here these what do you mean by light radiant energy? That means light always radiates energy, and that energy in terms of the light and in terms of heat, that is the kind of. Then here again I have shown in different way, that is energy, light energy, mechanical energy, and electrical energy. The energy which we like a fan energy is basically the mechanical energy. When this mechanical energy come in through the fan, then it converted into mechanical energy into air energy. That things happen here. The electrical energy resulting from a flow of the charge. Here the how the electrical energy flows from a system. Then we talk about this kind of the energy is basically a flow of charged particle. When the charged particle, we will talk about what is charged particle here also. When the charged particle flow from in the system, then the electrical energy produced. And energy produced the mechanics. That means there are the some mechanic, that is the fans or moving part, that is called the mechanical energy. Example of this mechanical energy is basically a fan. So here you can also observe all these kind of the energy are given here. These points are just I have mentioned to show to increase your knowledge what kind of the energy, and what are the different types of energy are there, and what do you mean by energy. These things I have just for to extend knowledge. You can go through all these things, you will get the answer. Now it is the most important to understand, as we aware that electricity was discovered by somewhere and the foreign people. We will talk about all these things also. But in the first, in ancient time, there is a rishi whose name is Augusta, Rishi Augusta, who discovered the first time the portable battery, since energy is came from a source, and that source is basically a kind of the current, or it may be the battery, and that battery was at ancient time, he has discovered, the C Augusta had discovered this kind of the things. And here in the Sanskrit there are the statements are given, uh, and I am not just going to these statements, but I just want to show these statements are basically talk about which kind of the pot he has taken for their research, and within that pot, like it is a current time of battery which we are generally now using. But in ancient time, this things was discovered by Rishi Augusta, and he has the given the detailed information about the portable battery. Here he is the person, Mr. Rajiv Dixit. He is the person who has talked about the discovery, the electrical cell that is called the battery. When different kind of the cell join together, then it converted into the battery. And these batteries basically are discovered by Muni Augusta. And this Augusta has given the about given about the knowledge about given knowledge about this electrical cell, and in this discovery he interested to produce, and this interested to produce that gives proof for uses and preparation of the battery recording recorded in Augusta Samhita. There is a kind of the Smriti written by Augusta Samhita, and this Augusta Samhita, in which he has written their discovery. Here there are the two rods. That is, one rod is basically considered as a plus, and another rod is which is carry a minus charges, and put on an earthen pot. This the pot name is earthen pot. These are the earthen pot, and there is a rod which he has taken is a copper plate, and here the solution which he has taken at that time, that is called the copper sulfate solution. Here the wet sawdust, there is a some dust particle you can observe here. Here another rod that is called a zinc powder, this zinc powder, and there is a mercury. All these things by he has given about about the electrical cells. Now you can again here I have given some detail about this, and the kind of the rod he has taken, the kind of the solution he has taken. All these things are not in your book, but just for these things I have mentioned, so that you can understand how the electricity was discovered, how the cell was discovered in ancient time. Siddhas are scientists. You can called as a Siddhas, Mr. We Muni Agastha. We can call him as a Siddhas Porus, or called as a scientist. The Agasthian is considered to be author of a lot of the first Siddha literature. He was the supposed to have lived in the time which here talking about the 17th century BC. In the 17th century BC, Mr. Siddha's literature was given. The about 96 books are attributed to him, and that includes writing in economy, medicines, and spirituality. These things written by these Siddha literatures. Apart from the legends that exist, the beginning of the Siddhas are lost in time. These Siddhas literatures are lost after some after period of time. So to understand who was our Muni who has discovered this kind of the thing, that's why I have mentioned, and you have to just go through all these things. Everything's are mentioned here. It is a kind of, again I am telling you, it is a kind of copper sulfate solution, um, where these things are kept. These are the two rods, that is one rod is plus sign rod and another rod is a minus sign rod. Here there is a zinc powder that is taken in this earthen pot. There is a wet saw. There is also wet saw dust, you can see here. Here is copper plate. This point is copper plate. Here copper solution, and here is a mercury. These things they have taken in their earthen pot. Now it is on about the Asian time. Now what happened in the when these scientists who has discovered with the help of that ancient discoveries, we are going to talk about all these things. Again I am telling you, this part is also not important for your notes purpose, but to understand about whole the knowledge about the electricity. That's why, since it after that you will not going to get anywhere this kind of the things uh, other than the your search engine. So these are very very important to understand how the electricities was discovered. So I have mentioned all these things. Wherever the whenever we start your the specific syllabus, we will talk about all these things at that time. But here just to extend your knowledge how these electricities was discovered by the different scientists in a different periods. Here we are talking about the history of electricity. There is a Greek scientist, and the time period was 2000 year ago. At that time, you could create a charge by rubbing. At that time, 2000 year back, they create a charge by rubbing the two things together. When we rub together, we feel some kind of heat, and that heats are created due to when we rub it. And because of that rubbing, the things the charge are created, and with that they discovered the electric charge. There is a plus charge, there is a minus charge, and this with that the charge are discovered. Now the another scientist whose name is Ben Franklin. He was in 1752, the time which we are talking about, the 1752. At that time, kite experiment in he was doing a kite experiment, and electricity travel through the conductor. He talk about that the electricity are travel through the conductor. He has given the some idea that the electricity travels through the conductor. Now Alexander Volta, there is another scientist in 1800. The time period which we are talking about is 1800. He produced the first electric battery. Here, he produced the first electric battery, and first made man-made electric current. Before that, there was there may be current, but that was not man-made. So here he had been talking about the electric current. He should doesn't get a lot of credit for the figuring it all out. These for that they get the some kind of the credit. Here, the different at the different from 1800 to 1850, whatever the things are discovered for the electricity purpose, these are the some scientists: Michael Faraday, Joseph Henry, Lights Fixie, and Nicole Joseph Colin. He was Ireland. The place also given. It is important. Samuel Finkel. These are the some scientist name who has discovered and what is famous for. These scientists I have given here, and in which year they have discovered these kind of the things also mentioned here. Nothing you have to do, just you have to read all these things. What are the different discoveries that take place during this time period, and which kind of the instruments are the things are discovered at a particular time period of the time, and who has discovered these things you have to understand, and make your GS note, so that whenever anybody will ask you about these scientists, you can give some brief about these scientists. Here, the electricity was first studied in detail in 1800th century. Many practical use for electricity, that is light bulb, were invented by Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison has discovered the bulb in the 19th century. Electricity was discovered in 18th century, but the Edison has discovered bulb in 19th hundredth century. Here, Edison co-founded Edison Electric, that is called the General Electric, which we used as a DC current, and that was discovered by Edison. Then Nikola Tesla is again the physicist, developed an AC current. AC means alternate current, because AC current can be efficiently transferred over a large distance compared to DC. And Nikola Tesla was the scientist who had discovered this. And these things, just again, I am telling you, just for extend your knowledge. That's why these are the slides are given in front of you, so that you can understand before to um, go to your the basic topic. So these are the important things by which you can understand the electricity. These things I have again mentioned here, by which you can go through all these things. It is important. Same things it is mentioned here. Here you can also see the same things, but in a different format. That's why I have given, so that you can also um, understand about the this discovery about electricity cell. First you can see here the different faces of the different scientists. This is the who has discovered the, as we are talking about. Then there is he is the Benjamin Franklin, and he has discovered the about electricity, as the foreign scientist told. But before this discovery of this electricity, Muni Augusta has given the uh, brief knowledge about the electricity. So, though people that times thought that Benjamin story of flying a kite, how he has discovered when he was flying a kite, then he at that time he saw a thunderstorm, was completely complete in imagination. No one really knows the truth, because he was talking about his story. That's why others are not believing. They said that the Greek and Parthian had knowledge about electricity by rubbing the object against the fur. Fur means any kind of the hair. That is, when the two hairs are rubbed together, the charges are created. And here the place is given, you can just see here. Greeks greeks are the place where the discovery what take place, and the Greeks discovered the rubbing fur and tree resin. These are the two things by which when the tree resins are rubbed together they attract to one another. And there were other peoples who invented electric machines some century later. These are the some kind of the things which you have to understand. Same thing again, I have mentioned all these things for only for you people, so that you can more understanding in different ways. I have given you all these things. Just go through all these kind of the things. I don't want to again read all those things. Just only to extend your knowledge I have mentioned all those things. There are the another things in the sequential order. I have given these kind of the things which is just related to somewhere. It is related to electricity. That's why all these things, and who has discovered in at what time period this discovery was take place. I have given in front of you to extend your knowledge. These things just I wanted to do, that's why I have given here. I don't want to teach you here too much about the electricity. Now now for you people, the which you have to understand, that is the current. This is the important thing which you have to understand. Now here the current is flow of a particle in a particular direction. When here this things the here it is mentioned the flow of particle. That particle is basically a flow of charge, flow of electron, sorry. It is not a charge, it is a flow of a electron. When the flow of now it is a flow of charge. When the flow of charge moving from a particular direction, then that is called the that is called a current. Now the current that cause winds or water current, like when the winds are flowing from one direction to another direction, like water flow from one direction to another direction. If these things are flow from in a specific direction, then like that the air also produce a current. When particle flow in electric circuit, what we are talking about, when a particle means charge, flow in electric circuit to produce electricity, then it is called electric current. When these things, that means when the particles are flowing in electric circuit, we will talk about these, what is circuit also we will talk about here. But before that you have to understand, when a particle flow in an electric circuit to produce electricity, any kind of the circuit, that circuit is basically a electric circuit. And when the particles are flowing in that circuit to produce the electricity, and that kind of the things are basically electric current. Now, electric current is defined here. The flow of electric charge, here again talking about flow of electric current in a circuit, is called electric current. The flow of electric charges in a circuit is called a electric current. The direction is taken from the positive. There is a two term. There are the two kind of the charges. One charge is known as a positive charge, another charge is known as negative charge. And when these charges are flowing from one terminal, there are the like that uh, magnetic pole, there are the two poles, south and north pole. Similarly, in electricity, there are the two terminals by which the currents are, electric charges are flow. And that two terminals are basically positive terminal and there is a negative terminal in the battery. And these two terminals provide the direction of flow of the electric charges. Now there are these things I have already told, the sources of energy. These are the some figures by which you can understand what the sources is it by which the currents are flow. Here the energy makes things moves, energy things up, energy runs our vehicle, energy gives run, play, or energy cook our food, energy helps the earth and our home, energy makes things grow, energy makes things grow. These are the energies. These are the electric cell. Now this much you have to understand here. All those things, since it is uh, to extend your knowledge, I have just given all these kind of the things. Other things are also available in the I will produce in the next class. But before that you have to understand, this is the first important major things where the more knowledge about the electricity you can gain from these this class. Other than that, the we will talk about the what is a circuit, we will talk about the different arrangement of the circuit. All these things we will discuss in the next class. Till the time you have to only go through all these kind of the concept so that you can make more understanding. Thank you for today's session.